welcome to the May 13th Select Board meeting. We will start with our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And reminding, if you didn't sign in, if you could do that either now or later after the meeting. All right, hello guys. We have the minutes from the April 8th regular meeting. Comments, questions, changes?
I saw none.
Yeah, nothing that I could see.
I'll make a motion, we approve the regular meeting minutes from our April 8th meeting.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There you go. And then we also had a non-public meeting, which we did not seal the minutes on. It was a meeting to go over the status of the Valley Crossroad Bridge, and we talked about the timing that we really need to be done by May 30th, because that's our kind of our drop dead date for our loan, etc. So if you guys notice, the one truss is up.
One is up.
Looks awesome. And so we're looking forward to that being finished in the next few weeks. Any comments, questions, changes on those minutes?
None.
I'll make a motion to approve the April 8th non-public session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you. Emily, the hazard mitigation plan.
Yeah.
How long has this ink been dry on this?
Yeah, it's been a little while. There's some holdups at FEMA, but it's gone through, and we've received pretty much all the payments. We met the match, so we just have to, it's your signature to adopt it, and then we'll wrap that up and have the final invoice sent to MAPS and to the state, and so we'll get everything all set. So Frank
Perfect.
was part of that process, as well as many other folks in the room and beyond.
Well, thank you very much for all the hard work you've done on this. And I will make a motion to, did you have any questions or comments?
I had none.
No.
Yeah, actually, I'll just say one thing.
Yes.
I did meet the new Bartlett EMD today, and so, you know, they were going through some of their EOP stuff, and we're going to be having conversations related to that. But
And who is that?
so a guy named Eddie Minyard,
Mm-hmm.
who has extensive experience emergency preparedness at the federal, like national level. So, yeah,
Great
kind of
resource.
blew me away for resources and
Yay.
information. So.
Nice. All right, I will make a motion to adopt the hazard mitigation plan.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right, can we get?
Yeah. We're done.
Hold on,
with
we're
that.
good. Give it
Yeah,
to you
we can
before
guys
our
go.
ink is dry.
Okay.
Hi, Leslie. Hi. Put your shovel down for a while.
Unbelievable.
Right there? Yep, that's it. Thank you, sir. All right, we have a police donation from some neighbors in town who thankfully sent a check in for thanks for watching their home while they were away last week. So I will make a motion to accept this $200 donation.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. No signatures. Thank you. Money's in the bank. That was very nice. We had a vote a couple weeks ago to change the name, or actually to name the road up to the highway garage, because for E119 purposes, we have to actually have a street name. So our new road is called Municipal Way, and we need to have a motion to accept that name.
That was okay? I only, because I
Yeah.
thought, because, yeah.
Municipal Way?
Municipal way, you don't have to say road in it, I heard all that stuff.
No,
That's-
they
No.
actually recommend, they, like, that
Yeah.
was the best recommendation.
Excellent. Sure.
Yeah.
I think you'll define it well enough.
I'll make a motion, we approve Municipal Way as the name of the road going up past the fire station to the town at large.
I'll second that. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. And the new address for the highway garage is 23 Municipal Way for all the Christmas cards and things.
You have to set a date when the municipal way will go into effect.
Oh, you're right.
So
I'm
it's
sorry. This
usually
is
the first-
effective as of June 4th,
Yes,
2025, which is the first
Wednesday.
Wednesday of the month. What's the
Yes.
purpose of doing it on a Wednesday? The
It's,
first
I
Wednesday?
don't know, that's E911, I think that's when they come up here. I don't know. Or you could do it in July, but once, it has to be posted, so I talked to Jim about that and maybe putting up just a temporary municipal way
Signage.
on the post out there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard.
That's gonna be a disaster.
I know.
What post?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, well, let's make it effective June 4th, 2025, unless, I mean, we'll make it that, but it's going to be tough because of the construction there, but I'm sure some kind of I'm sure that some kind of
once they
signage
get the
will be
new
there.
poles set, then we can
Yeah.
put a sign up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
I'm a realist. Not an optimist and not a pessimist. I'm a
But I'm
realist.
over here. Just kidding. Okay,
Luke, is there a number for the fire station, still 56 Main Street?
yeah,
Yes.
Wait,
So can we, is that official? If they take deliveries, do we?
Well, that's the whole thing, as of June 24th.
24th or 4th? It says
Sorry,
June 4th.
4th.
Okay, sorry.
So June 1st, I
June-
can tell Richie deliveries at 56 Main Street.
Yes,
that's gonna be the new address for the fire station?
Fire station,
It's
56.
The new fire station is 56 Main Street.
I had to put an address thing down, so,
Yeah.
okay.
And the highway department is gonna be
23
23
Municipal Way.
Municipal Way.
Okay.
Okay.
all right. Bob, would you like to talk about the ad hoc work group and subcommittees for the planning board?
Well, yeah, the idea was hatched at a planning board meeting. They're going to be working on the master plan this year. And they completed, right around the first of the year, their capital improvement plan. So we were talking about ways to make sure that we got input from all who could contribute to the master plan, and it was based on, they got plenty of input from some on the capital improvement plan, but not as much input from others, and so the concept was to reach out to boards and committees in town in a very proactive way, saying, here's what we're doing this year, and we'd really like your board's involvement, for example, and do you have anyone who would be willing to sit on a committee to help us do this work? These are, key stakeholders in the community, obviously, if they're sitting on a board and doing work and contributing time and effort to the betterment of the town. So really would like to have people around the table in real time to have some discussions about these things. And so that conversation kind of morphed into, we should reach out and should recruit people, everybody, from conservation committees to library trustees to school boards to zoning boards, and maybe some committee at-large members from the community as well, to do that work so that it feels like a much more comprehensive effort than it would otherwise feel like.
So, do you want me to read this so it recaps? It seems like pretty much you said what
Yeah, I
this
think
is.
what you have on that document could represent an outreach to these boards and committees to hopefully encourage that level of participation I was just talking
Good.
about.
All right, so reading this, and then we will also, if this is recommended and approved by the select board today, then we can post this on e-news and ask for letters of interest.
Sure.
Okay, so the Jackson Planning Board and Select Board are working together to form an ad hoc committee to review ideas and projects for the town's 2026 master plan and the 2024 capital improvement plan. The committee's work will help create a clear outline of what needs to be done, which projects should come first, and how much time and effort each task may require as our master plan is updated over the course of the next year.
Well,
Members of the committee will come from all of the town's boards and committees. This broad participation will ensure that the updated master plan includes input from across town leadership and reflects the ideas of key community stakeholders. By including a wide range of voices, the committee will better represent the interests of the entire community. The committee's work will guide planning for important improvements, especially in budgeting and town facilities, and help Jackson continue to grow as a strong local economy and a vibrant, welcoming resort town. The committee will be formed in June and will begin meeting in September. So that's the gist of this. The subcommittees will be formed, and they will be, then they will have 3-year terms for each of the members. And then
Well,
meetings-
it will be an ad hoc,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I guess my question is, like you said at the beginning, some of the committees were really good about participating with a capital improvement plan, and some were not as involved. Not really good, but some were more involved than others.
Yeah.
So is this to encourage more involvement towards the master plan and hope that we get a real sense of what's needed?
Yes, and I think
For the
the
longer
committee
term.
was pretty unanimous that, you know, the more comprehensive level of input they could get, the better job they could do in producing a master plan. So the committee would form as an ad hoc and do the work, and when the work is done, the committee closes out. And that's the nature of that. And so to recognize, you know, July and August aren't fun meeting times where you get major participation, but if we could get commitments from folks before the end of June, each board and committee or whoever we're looking at to reach out to from an at-large community member standpoint would, you know, we'd have the makeup of that group and then could schedule and convene.
And one last thing, did the planning board give you any indication on when they were going to present the capital improvement plan to us?
No,
That would be nice.
I'll pass that along.
That would be a great thing to see. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have any other questions. You have questions? Then I will make a motion to appoint, or to set up these ad hoc committees, and we will appoint the members as they submit letters of interest.
We'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Julie?
I just have a question, how many people are gonna be on this?
Well, I think it's fair to have a conversation around who we really feel is important to have representation there. So example would be, say, school board recommendation would almost be, you know, absolutely mandatory to have. And so we would certainly want the school board to determine who's going to represent their interests in the committee. Same with the conservation committee. So it could almost be, and you know, whether it's historical society, library, school board, you know, we could put together the list and make sure we haven't forgotten anybody. That could then translate into a conversation around, do we want some at-large community members involved? It's a small town, we know who the players are that could, you know, really enhance the work, and if so, how many, and if so, who should we reach out to?
Okay, just curious.
So as we get letters in, that way we'll know if we get 3 from the
Yeah.
school board and none from the library.
And I mean, once, you know, identifying those groups, like I was at the library trustees meeting a week ago, last Monday or Tuesday or whenever they meet. you know, I'm happy to go to the school board meeting, have to meet with the, you know, Conservation Commission and say, hey, here's what we want to do. And, you know, sometimes that kind of personal contact can go a long way.
All
Don't
right,
wanna
well, we'll
take up
see,
everybody's-
yeah, we'll see, we'll coordinate with the planning board to get the list of the committees and start hopefully getting letters of
Yeah.
interest to make sure we check all the boxes of who's who.
Yeah.
Perfect. So this next is a motion to, we need a motion to collect yield tax for a timber cut at R12 Lot 83 in the amount of $257. And Karen is handling the collection of that. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
I will second. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. And we're signing here. There you go, sir. Thank you. And the next item is increase in the hauling fees, transfer station hauling fees. So, and Julie, you noted on here that someone asked me after the town meeting why we always had $10,000 in the budget for the transfer station for the joint operating account. And it's a really good question because we haven't used it in many, many years. And the balance in the joint account is $68,000, of which Jackson has 40% of that balance. So we will definitely consider whether or not that $10,000 sits on the budget line item for 2026. But regardless of that, we probably will have to increase our fees for the hauling portion since that will go up. But it may be a wash as it comes down to it, but it won't be something where we have money in the budget that it isn't being used for anything specifically. Julie?
Well, that $10,000 is different than the Bartlett joint account.
Yeah, the one that we
Oh, the one that
write
has the
checks out of.
68, yeah.
Right.
So that $10,000 was for when they purchased a loader, and I guess we paid for it for 5 years,
Mhm.
but
But it never fell off the budget.
no, it never fell off,
Yeah.
so I
So,
don't think it needs to be on there, but that's something to decide later.
we'll talk about
Yeah.
that when budgets get submitted next year. So, basically what we're talking about here though is that, we were questioned by Bartlett if we wanted to use the joint account that has 68,000 in it, 27 of it is ours to pay for the hauling fee increase, and I think that's a good idea. Might
Yeah.
as well use the joint account.
The increase was pretty substantial.
It's
Yes, it
huge.
was.
It's
It
very
was huge.
steep. Do you have it in front of you?
I don't have it, but it's $100 more.
The
or
email?
Yes, it went from 210 a ton to 375 a ton. So huge, huge. And last year we hauled 84 tons for Jackson, and so it would increase $13,000 for the year if we hauled the same amount. So it's definitely not a small amount of money. I know that North Connery County Incinerator had not increased their fees for many, many years, so when they finally did, it was a very substantial increase. So,
It's not like we have options.
no, we don't really.
It'd be nice if we did. That's such a major increase.
Yes, it is.
But
Any other options that we have would be welcome to hear, but I don't think we do have any others as well. Reduce the amount we have to haul. So I will make a motion that we should take the hauling fees from the joint account with the Bartlett Transfer Station.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
you know, it's a separate issue, but I do know that from time to time, there are recycling opportunities that come and go. We
Mhm.
used to recycle stuff that was not, ended up being kind of cost prohibitive to
Mhm.
recycle it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that, and so the two boards work together, requiring a majority of approval for any change up there from each board. So it's not about getting 4 out of 6 votes, it's about getting 2 out of 3 from each town. So that, you know, makes it challenging from time to time, but I don't know, and we can talk about this maybe at an upcoming transfer station meeting. There may be recycling opportunities with this increased cost that are now more financially feasible.
Yeah.
And certainly there are people that feel like even if it's not coming in the black, is that the only consideration that we should be thinking about when we recycle?
Let me talk to the Bartlett Select Board and we'll get a meeting on the books because we haven't had one in a while for the transfer station. So
okay.
maybe we can do that in July with
Yeah.
our ambulance meeting. Just to talk about it and make sure that Bob Blake also, if he has any ideas.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right. May as well stay current. All right, we have some liquor license requests. Eagle Mountain House has asked to extend their liquor license for their tent and outside area, outdoor wedding receptions in the tent and outdoor barbecue events on the back lawn between May 1st and November 30th of 2025. So, obviously May 1st has passed, so we did have a conversation with them and approved this already, but I will make a motion backdating to May 1st through November 30th to grant the extended liquor license to Eagle Mountain House.
I'll second that.
And before we vote, I did have some questions, just general questions around special event liquor license requests. And I know that there was a point in time, and I think the Eagle comes to mind, where we had worked with them to make sure that there were stanchions and roped off areas in place. So you're under the tent and there was an 8-foot swath that was roped off like behind the tent.
Right.
And everything, and to make sure everybody understood where alcohol was okay to consume and where it was not. And it's a general question, Jill. I don't even know how often we check on things like that, or if I just don't want to see that level of effort really go by the wayside because we're not keeping it front and center on our radar. That the understanding should be there. And sometimes there's management turnover in some of these places and everything else is going, well, I didn't know that and nobody told me, and that's pretty generic. But I want to make sure that whoever is involved with this understands that that needs to be just, crystal clear.
And we had that conversation with the Wentworth because they're on the road too. So
That's
I know
right.
we had that, and they've changed their landscaping and
Yeah.
everything too, but that was quite a concern with people going into the road area. Jay, do you do anything with your inspections? You just do tent inspections pretty much?
No, I only assign an occupant load for the space they ask for.
Okay.
But I had a conversation a couple weeks ago with the fire marshal's office about this, because it was always pretty gray, and everybody you talk to would give you a different answer as to how they delineate the area. And the fire marshal's office has a ex-liquor commission person working for him. The response I got is it only has to be delineated. It can be a fence, it can be a rope, it can be flower pots. It's extremely gray.
Yeah,
There's no specific, this is how you do it.
yeah.
So that was the answer I got very recently. So I would think that must be in their purview
Purview,
to
yeah.
enforce.
Yeah.
And we talk about the noise levels in the tent and all that, but as far as being roped off for that, I guess it's an interesting thing if we can maybe do a visit to the venues that have these to see how they handle that. So why don't each take a venue and go to a wedding crash?
They'd never let me in. But I think that is
I think
an
it's
important thing not to lose sight of.
Yeah.
That, you know, it's an extreme example, but, you know, we don't want anybody like hauling a keg down to the fourth tee, you
Mhm.
know, because they've got an extended liquor license. But I think the minute we start assuming people know where they can and cannot go, and we haven't had that conversation,
Mhm.
we'll wish we hadn't
Yeah.
assumed.
And then are there generally any inspections done by the Liquor Commission, or do they attend any events so they can see? That's not a question I know we may have an answer for today, but do they do periodic inspections to judge the perimeter of what they're doing for serving? So I guess let's put that on a to-do list to find out more information on,
I think
The
they could
venues
whenever
that
they
we-
want to, but whether
Yeah,
they do,
but
because
whether
there's a
they
lot
do.
of events in one town. but
right,
We do have some pretty good people up, like the Eagle Mountain House as an example, been
Yeah.
there for a while, they know what they're
they
doing.
have
And
management
we've been doing
change
this.
too.
Is
so-
Joel Barassa still there?
No, I
Okay,
know.
so now I
Yeah.
understand his point. that-
Yeah, so,
Okay.
let's put that,
Oh,
oh, Mike?
Just to give a little insight to future thinking as well, there's been discussions about disbanding liquor commission agents.
Mm-hmm,
So that means if we do that, it's probably going to be mainly on the town, CJ,
thanks.
for enforcement side of things. So we're not really sure where that's headed yet.
Okay,
But there is discussion about disbanding the agents themselves.
keep us posted if you hear anything more.
So they
Yeah,
want to push it back into the town.
Yeah, but let's put this on, and if not the next agenda, certainly the one after that. I don't know if we can accomplish this, but maybe ask some questions around
Yeah.
to find out how this is monitored and who mans, or, you know, who enforces the perimeter, I guess.
We
I
probably,
certainly wouldn't want to make it conditional for this, but
No.
I know we had things in writing at one point. I'm not to say that they were on the letter for that specific outline, but I know, you know, back in the day when it was Julie and Julie in there, it seemed like, I don't remember how we ended up with something in mind. Does that ring a
It was
bell?
always in the tent. We
Yeah.
didn't have the balls down.
They didn't have as many
Right.
outside the area
No, and we
requests.
had,
It's mostly been tents.
yeah, and like the restaurants, if they wanted to serve, like, there was a, what's it called, Autumn Nomad. She can serve inside, but she can't serve outside.
Right, because we don't have an ordinance that prohibits from
Right.
serving from like a food truck or
Right.
something,
Exactly.
yeah.
I seem to recall that the issue came up when the insistence was on the walls going down, the tent walls.
Mhm.
And that was
Yeah.
a issue of concern from the hotels. And then, but we want our people to see outside, and so we kind of have this, you know, roped off area out there where somebody could go and enjoy their drink and be
Mhm.
outside. And I don't know, it seems like there should be something about that in writing somewhere. I wouldn't even know where to look.
Yeah.
But, and I could be wrong, but I do remember that we've had those conversations in the past.
All right, we'll approve these, obviously, like you said, we're not gonna hold that up, but let's figure out who is responsible for that, and then if we can even get some kind of a drawing of what their plans are,
yeah,
where
if
the
we had a
property is
checklist
limited
of some
to.
Yeah.
kind that tells us what they're doing there, but
Yeah.
I certainly want to be involved in enforcement. We go up there and suddenly you find people, you know,
Yeah.
one of the selectmen saying, you're drinking in the wrong place. I'm not sure if we want to get into that.
No,
But I think what the point is well taken by Bob, that you know,
Yeah.
maybe we should at least try and keep the system honest.
yeah,
I mean, it's hard to it's the liquor commission rules, and how do you,
Yeah.
how are we gonna,
I think it's more just knowing, it's a
another,
little bit
another
of,
book that
like,
thick full of rules.
yeah, like you said, I don't wanna be the enforcer on
Yeah.
this, because that's out of our purview, but at the same time, knowing, a little bit of knowledge can go a long way in making sure that we're aware of what's going on when we give these extended liquor licenses.
And is everybody clear when we give special event liquor serving privileges out, where the drinking is gonna be and where it's not gonna
Mhm.
be?
So, all right, so we made a motion to approve Eagle Mountain House, and we seconded, I believe. All in favor? Aye. And then the second one,
Jerry had a hand.
Oh, Jerry?
Recognize it.
Sorry, Barbara.
that's okay.
I think you guys are on the right path with this. What you could do is you could ask for, drawings up front before you get the approval.
Yeah,
After you made the approval, you can't really kind of do much.
right.
But if you have, part of your application process, that they provide drawings on where specifically is going to be for the
Yeah.
event, and then you'll have something to base it on.
And they should have that, you would think, because when I think of the two specific ones, Wentworth and Eagle come to mind because they have such great areas where their tents are delineated and stuff. So it seems like it would be pretty logical for them to have those areas. And yeah, we're doing it in hindsight for sure for this year at these two events, but
That's always,
I
it's
think
always
that-
been done, which makes sense, but like you could
Yeah.
actually require upfront that, hey, we want to see what it looks like. That way you're not managing what it looks like.
Yeah.
They are.
yeah.
And you can say,
Right.
okay, we're happy with that, or we're not, so we're not going to approve
This
it.
is
Yeah, and if the
simply
liquor commission,
no alcohol beyond this point, and I could swear I've seen schematics and
Yeah.
actually seen the
Yeah.
rope up.
I remember that now too, I was saying that, yeah.
Like I said, a checklist.
Yeah.
yeah, all right, well, let's look into, thanks, Jerry. All right, the second one is for the Wentworth Hotel to serve alcohol outside of their licensed area to accommodate outdoor wedding receptions being held at the Wentworth between May 2nd and November 3rd, 2025.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I know we already signed it, but I'm going to add the ink onto that one. Thank you. There it is. All right, the next is trustee of the trust funds withdrawal request. And this is the Jackson Select Board are requesting the following withdrawals from the trust funds. $35,673.59 total from the Bridge Repair Expendable Trust Fund 0034. And this includes $6,677.84 for invoice 407438 to GPI Greenman Peterson Inc. $23,515.40 for invoice number 11 for Austin Construction, and $5,480.35 invoice 32148 for HEB Engineers.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just talking about the bridge for a moment. if I
Yes.
could. Betsy and Pam Smiley
Mm-hmm.
went down and investigated to see what debris might be down there and what
Yeah.
hazards, and they actually found some. And they let everybody know what's going on, so that the contractors know that they have to clean the site up, and they're pretty
Right.
aware of that. But they also found a couple of screws sticking up somewhere that Pam had noticed, and Betsy, and they went down there and they marked them, and I believe they're gone now, or they will be,
Yeah.
just to make sure someone doesn't accidentally
Austin
step on it.
Construction is taking care of that, because those stakes were part of, when they started the whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the broken off post that's there, they're gonna remove all of that. There's a couple things that have nothing to do with the construction, so
Right.
they're not removing that.
I appreciate that because I know you sent some pictures too from there.
Yeah.
And
The
just,
best that I could do, but as I said,
Yeah.
I asked Pam, because I was still having a little trouble getting around, and I said, Pam, this is a big one, Conservation Commission, can you
Yes.
get down there? And she really did a thorough job.
that's great. Yeah, I mean, once they're done, and we sign off on it, making sure that everything is in good condition.
So I have a question, and I don't know, I saw the truss up Saturday.
Mhm.
Is the other one up, or is
No,
it?
Not yet.
No, I went by today, it's
Okay.
not up yet, no.
Okay,
I don't know if it's in town, but I'm not sure.
okay.
Because they're parking them over towards the fire pond area.
So they
but-
got one of them up.
Yeah, I had
Yeah, it was
I
cool.
had a middle of the night nightmarish event in my head going, what if they try to move the historical society and bring the trusses in the same day? So I called Julie the next morning. I'm like, I'm having this panic mode. So actually, Burr contacted, or he went and talked to Austin, I think, or Chris or something, and said no. First of all, they're going up Carter Notch Road to bring the truss in, and secondly, they're still doing a lot of work till they can close the road down. But I literally was almost like, oh yeah, that would just be
Dundee
perfect.
to switch back here, I'll say.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We can get there.
Oh my gosh. So, the trusses almost became part of the Historical Society in my head anyway. All right, so that's good for that.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
Okay.
Dundee's
so-
open, right? Dundee Road?
Yes.
Should be open.
And we're going to put the building inspector, because Kevin couldn't make it today, we're going to put that on the next agenda item, or the next agenda for the next meeting.
Motion to table 4I to next meeting.
Thank you. I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the next is a cemetery lot agreement for Jason LaBelle for lot 748C at the Jackson Village Cemetery. Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second.
Hmm?
Somebody second that?
I did. I thought I did.
Close enough.
You did.
Yeah. All right, so this was a panicked moment for Julie Hoyt when she got an email that said, oh, Interlocal Trust is not able to stay in business anymore because of the cost of claims, et cetera. So they're terminating their providing the health coverage for the town on June 30th.
June 30th.
So scrambling, and of course, we're not the only town that this affected, but Julie did some research with, it was Interlocal Trust that is
Interlocal
Trust
trust is gonna dissolve, they're dissolving. They're
dissolving.
no longer-
So Julie got 2 other quotes. And School Care is a 14% increase from our current cost, but it is the exact same plan and coverage. And then we also got a quote from CGI, which was a 22% increase compared to the current rates, and the coverage was different and had higher deductibles and prescription prices. So it was not hard to make the decision to go to School Care for the 14% increase, and we will be going out to bid like we do every year just to make sure we don't have other options. But this is a good option to keep the same coverage, same plan, and continuous. And School Care will be helping with the open enrollment process for all of the folks that are on the plan. So thank you for all the hard work and
No.
sweating.
Mm.
So we need a motion to change the health plan to go with School Care.
I'll make a motion that we adopt School Care as our insurance provider due to the fact that Interlocal is no longer operating.
As of June 30th.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And we don't need signatures here. So I recently went on Clover because my husband retired, and that was effective March 28th, and my insurance was just reinstated today. It's a weird feeling not to have health insurance for a while, so I thank my,
It's the day that
count my
something happens.
blessings, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing that I'm just going to mention today, that our website is and our email addresses are all going to be changing, and this is for security purposes. Everything will be the same for our email address, except we'll end in .gov instead of .org. And this is new security measures. So Julie will be getting more information, but I wanted to make note of that for today's meeting. And effective next week, I think you said, or?
It's actually this week, I just don't know when.
Okay, but everything will be forwarded. It's not like
Yeah.
you'll get a kickback on
Yeah.
the .org emails. It's just that they'll be forwarded automatically, and we'll migrate ours over to end in .gov. All right. All right, the next thing is the fire station update and the loan/bond update, and Julie and I are learning semantics. So even though we're borrowing from a bank, it still is considered a bond because of the terminology. But at the same time, we're going to be borrowing from Camden National Bank. We're going to be moving our banking from Camden to TD Bank, and that from TD Bank to Camden. Thank you. And of course, that won't happen overnight because things like that take time for transactions to clear, make sure that all our employees get paid on time, etc. But so it's a process that we've been working through. We have pretty good officers that we're working with at Camden, And TD is sort of aware that informally aware that we're going to be making this transition just because it's a small world. So we need to have a motion to move our funds from TD Bank to Camden National Bank.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the second
Thanks, Julie,
thing
for all the
is,
hard work
yeah.
to figure that all out.
And then the second thing is to make a motion to close our TD bank accounts with a future date when everything is done. So that will allow us to notify TD Bank.
And I will make a motion to close down our TD bank accounts at some point in the future when it's ready for us to do so.
And I will, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Anything else on the fire station that you have to comment before I go on to the next issue here? Fence looks pretty.
Not really. I mean, they'll be, they're right on schedule. They talked about beginning site work between the middle of May and the end of May, and that's all set to happen, and all the major players, the electrical co-op. I don't think that we were expecting their their price for all of the moving we needed to do at some point this week. I don't know if that came in or not, but we met with them a week ago, last Tuesday. They were on site with Drew, with John Tierney, the electrician, with Berth Phillips. Everybody was there, and so they all seemed to be on the same page with what we needed for fiber optic pipes and where they would go and everything. So once they draw that up, they're going to price it out, and we will get that quote. It's really the only thing left to get a price on.
Great. Thanks for the update. And then the next thing is the post-issuance tax compliance policy that we need to adopt. So our bond counsel let us know that we need to have in effect a, sorry, I just lost my place, a post-issuance compliance policy. And I'm going to read this into the minutes, and then we'll talk if anybody has any questions. So this is mandatory and sort of boilerplate. Resolution of the Select Board of the Town of Jackson, New Hampshire, May 13, 2025. Whereas the Town of Jackson, New Hampshire, known as the Town, from time to time on a tax-exempt basis issues bonds and bond anticipation notes. Sorry, that should be number one. Bonds and bond anticipation notes to finance capital projects. 2, tax anticipation notes to pay the town's maintenance and operation expenses. And 3, municipal leases to finance and lease purchase of a certain equipment, all pursuant to the provisions of New Hampshire RSA Chapter 33 as amended. Whereas the federal income tax laws included in the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended, further known as the Code, require that issuers of tax-exempt debt comply with certain post-issuance requirements set forth in the Code. And whereas for purposes of maximizing the likelihood that the town complies with such requirements of the Code, the Select Board of the town, known as the Board, desires to adopt the post-issuance tax compliance policies and procedures attached hereto as Exhibit A. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board as follows, that the post-issuance tax compliance policies and procedures attached hereto as Exhibit A are hereby approved, that the Board hereby names the town administrator as the coordinator under the post-issuance tax compliance policies and procedures, and that the town administrator has accepted such nomination, and that the resolution shall take effect from and after its adoption.
And then
Questions or?
you said, is that pretty much a template?
Yes, and there's a memorandum that goes along with this that came from our bond counsel that goes into a little bit more detail than the actual resolution that we had to read into the
Okay.
minutes.
I just asked because my whole post-issuance tax compliance policy experience is limited.
Yeah, mine too. So this is why we have bond counsel.
Yes.
To make sure that we, like they said, that we check the boxes, et cetera. So I don't have any questions, but again, I don't know if I would know what questions to ask on this.
Right.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Well, I'll make a motion that we adopt the post-issuance tax compliance policy that was just read into the minutes.
Awesome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, bond counsel. This is without a doubt a learning process.
Mm.
And this goes into the IRS form 8038G that bond counsel will be filing for us. So that checks that box. All right, on the town hall building. This was given already to move the process forward, but we need to make a motion to make it official that we granted an easement to New Hampshire Electric Co-op to access the power lines in order to move the town hall. So we need to make a motion that we approve the easement.
I'll make a motion we approve the easement for New Hampshire Electric Co-op.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, and we signed this already, Julie?
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
It's been submitted.
Okay.
Sorry, been submitted.
And the next is an indemnity agreement between the town of Jackson and the Jackson Historical Society. So legal has gone back and forth with your folks on indemnifying, the Historical Society indemnifying the town. So most importantly, paragraph 2 says, in consideration of the town's approval and support both financially, including an expendable trust fund in the amount of $100,000, and logistically for Jackson Historical Society's relocation of the structure, Jackson Historical Society hereby agrees that it shall fully indemnify, hold harmless, and defend the town and its officers, officials, employees, and agents from and against any and all claims, demands, actions, suits, damages, liabilities, losses, settlements, judgments, costs, and expenses, including but not limited to reasonable attorney fees and costs, whether or not involving a third-party claim, which arise out of or related to any act or omission in any way related to the relocation of the structure, including but not limited to damage to the structure, except as caused by the town's own intentional wrongful acts. That's the gist of it, and you can tell that was written by a lawyer. But it's an indemnification agreement, so I will make them,
So,
Question.
just to
yes.
assure myself, obviously with our town council, Jason Dennis was involved
Yes.
in this, and this meets with his understanding of what an effective indemnity agreement would look like, correct?
Correct, and Stephen Weeder's counsel and insurance agents have all been privy to this as well, so everyone's in agreement that this is what we need. Exactly. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
I know.
Yeah, it's just.
Would you like a copy of this on the way out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. We're all praying for smooth transfer, right? So, questions? No?
I think Jerry, I thought maybe Jerry Dougherty had a question, but maybe what you read question.
You have a
answered.
question?
Yeah, this is close to what I had advised back in March. And the indemnification by the Historical Society, how is that accomplished?
I think it's saying that, I think that by signing the contract, that.
Just-
Well, they're holding the insurance, which we've gotten proof of, so I guess that and this
Okay,
indemnification
that was-
agreement, just the agreement between the two
That was the
parties.
answer. You've seen the insurance agreement.
Absolutely,
From Tamarack and.
yes.
Historical Society both have insurance.
Right.
We also took out builder's risk.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, thank you. Motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And
Right.
Leslie, you need to sign as well.
Okay.
You're-
Yep. If you want to.
All set with me?
Who, what, you want to do an update or we?
Yeah, any updates or?
You can all see the boulder.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I saw you rolling out there, like Prometheus was there. Let's see.
The builder said it's the hardest job he's ever had.
Oh,
Really?
It's just filled with boulders.
Oh my gosh, I
Okay.
cannot believe the boulders that are out there.
Archaeological dig.
Yeah, yeah.
What's ironic is down in the new location.
Thank you, Leslie.
We hit a vein of sand.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
sure.
crazy. Yeah.
One thing, the duck race, where do they put the ducks in? Like from the bridge down?
I don't know, I believe they do it at the bridge,
Bridge,
yeah.
Yes,
But,
on the stone bridge.
yeah, but I would,
That should work.
just Kathleen will be on top of that, I'm sure.
And we're hoping to get a Saturday feature in the Sun on it.
That'd be great.
And they want to get a picture of all the people involved. And would any or all of you like to be in a picture with the paper?
We love pictures.
Right,
Let
we'll
us
take a
know.
picture.
Okay, well, I'll set up a time with Rachel at the paper and let you know.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they actually asked us if we were going to do a, you know, like a shovel
I know,
for
they-
the fire station,
Oh.
like, oh, we're good.
Yeah.
We want to do it when it's done.
And if Dundee's open, can you send something to us, or is it?
I didn't know it was open.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry, I assumed it was, I thought I'd
No,
seen something.
Jim said it wasn't open yet.
Sorry,
so
my bad.
I
So
didn't know
Dundee
if there was
Road,
something and I
Dundee
didn't-
Road is not open
Oh,
yet.
I asked, okay.
I thought it was, I'm sorry.
turn
Jim-
this way. It's
Yeah.
spooky.
Dundee Road is not open. Jerry, did you have a question?
Yes, I really appreciate the safety fence put here. I think it makes a lot of sense. Is something like that possible there?
Are you talking about the chain link fence out here?
Well, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the fire
Yeah, you
station.
point that
Yeah.
way. So,
Yeah, that I think is really.
Sure, it's nice, but there's 3 lots over there that we're encompassing.
Yeah.
So anything's possible. You want to donate the cost of that?
The trucks
Jerry?
going in and out.
Yeah,
Is that what you're volunteering?
Well, I'm surprised that your insurance company would require it.
Sure, we could put barbed wire up too. I'm sure they'd like that.
Well, they didn't put barbed wire.
yeah,
The trucks are going, but also we're still waiting on the Jersey barrier
yeah.
I spoke with them today.
to put along the road, but we haven't been able to because we applied a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we had to get permission from the DOT. But as soon as
Right.
we get it, we'll put the Jersey barriers.
Right.
Great.
Well, first for safety.
Yes,
Thanks.
Thank you.
thank you.
All right, short-term rentals, we actually have the one that was pending for the transfer station road, and they have still not changed their ads, so we are denying this.
Okay.
So I will make a motion to deny the R13 Lot 28.
I'll
short-term
second
rental.
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we don't sign that one. Kevin was not able to be here, but had no
Yeah.
comments on the driveway and building permits. So no, nothing there to discuss. Any public comment?
Yeah. Quick, the last 3 bonds that the town got, including the high school bond, so that wasn't just the town, that was the
Mhm.
valley, obviously, with our participation in it anyway. I managed all of this.
Mhm.
I had a lot of experience with it. I did I participated heavily in the last time we did an audit for a bond. If you guys have any questions towards that at all, I'm happy to help with that. The ad hoc committee that the planning board and you are talking about doing really sounds fantastic. You know, I know the school board and the select board over the past years have always talked about trying to accomplish that.
Mhm.
I know Bill Terry has talked with Jessica Della Valle at the school board, we talked about it almost every meeting last year. wanting to do this sort of thing. And I think that's great. And aside from that, I think it would be really important to do is for the select board and the school board to plan to get together in budget season to talk about the budgets, particularly because we know we're maxing out the tax rate now, right?
Right.
We're all trying to do the best we can to manage it. We've seen some increases. Just as an example, about citing the high school bond going away and that money being freed up, well, the school board targeted that money in its own budget to offset increases. So if both boards are claiming to offset their increases with that money, then one of them is misleading the public. So that kind of thing that we coordinated with the school board, between the select board and the school board, you would know how the tax rates are going to be impacted before we're actually asking the taxpayers to do it.
Right, I appreciate that so much, and I've been talking to Jess Delavala as well about that and meeting during budget season. So we each know what we're asking for and what we can do to help save costs, because we've been in a growth mode. I mean, we really have. We've got some big projects. The bridge is costing more than we thought it would. The fire station is coming up. There have been a lot of things that we've done, even staff increases and things like that we've done. Insurance costs, things are going up. So now it's time to go, okay, let's put the brakes on and see where we need to be. And also, it seems like it's going to be far away. We still have 5 years left on the highway bond, but that's a short period of time in town budgets where we can look at where that's going to be, and especially as we look at a capital improvement plan and what we want to do in the next 5 years. So I really appreciate that look forward and communicate. And the more we can all talk amongst each other and make sure we're not stealing from each other's pots or depending on somebody's pot being a little lighter or heavier, and the better that we can do and be more transparent to the taxpayers. So I appreciate that. And I hope that we can continue to work together. I'm really interested in seeing the capital improvement plan finalized to see what that shows too. I think we all have like an inkling of things that are there, but not the full picture. So
Ask David.
I have been. Like, David, where's that capital improvement plan? He goes, oh, let's go. So we'll see. Any other comments? All right, our next meeting is going to be Thursday, May 15th, which is 2 days from now, where we will have a very quick regular meeting and then a non-public select board meeting. That's at 3:30. And then Tuesday, May 27th, regular select board meeting, June 10th, regular select board meeting, and June 24th, regular select board meeting. There is no non-public today, so I will make a motion to adjourn at 4:27.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, Barbara.
All right. Thanks, Jerry. You might tap into your expertise as we get closer to reviewing.
Are you guys going for a while?
We're doing a loan